You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver media podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters. CanadianTarot.com, your uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community and forum, and The Peppermaster, hot pepper sauces made from fresh farm ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind.
Well, good morning, kids. It looks like we've got a solo Grizzly this morning because I'm not sure where Mr. Beaver is. A good chance he's still taking his slumber. Sometimes that happens. It's possible that he slept through his alarm. I know I've done that more than once, and I'll probably continue to do that as I rapidly age. I'm aging at the moment. We all are, actually. I mean, let's be truthful. Every second that goes by, we get a little bit older. So that's quite all right. And how's everybody feeling this morning? I'm tired, very tired, and my back is killing me. Probably from overexerting myself in the workplace yesterday while climbing up and down ladders and under desks trying to fix things. I did accomplish a great deal in my workplace, and that's a good thing, but I did it at the expense of my body. And sometimes that happens. Sometimes that takes place. I don't want it to be that way, but there you go. You know, it's sometimes that's just the way the cookie crumbles. So I hope everybody's feeling good this morning. I hope you're feeling better than I am. I do have my TENS machine. It's pain relief. I'm not sure what that means, but I think it's a direct translation from Chinese to English. Anyway, I don't know if you can see that. There's a bit of a glare. Come on, Paul, get it together. No, anyway, it is a... I put the pads on, press the button. It does the massage. It'll help the muscles relax. I'll do that along with some muscle relaxant and some heat, and I should be up and running at 100%. Well, actually, never again, but I'll be in better shape tomorrow, and probably later today. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Hugh. I do have a 17-year-old mind in a 54-year-old body. It's a bad combo. Good morning, Pete. How you doing? Good to see you. Good morning, Elaine and Linda. Who else is here this morning? Jen, Deborah, Ashley. Good morning, Ashley. How you doing? Hey, look at that. We've got What You Can Do. Our new fellow podcaster. We'll be doing an interview with him very shortly. Very shortly. Soon. Very soon, I should say. It is indeed Thor's Day. Happy Thor's Day. I'm happy to be here. My pain is weakness leaving your body. Yeah, I wish that was the case. Pain is the body's way of telling you to stop doing whatever it is you've been doing. That's a lesson I've learned the hard way. I only do things the hard way because I'm old and stubborn, and that's just the way the brain works for me. Want to thank our podcast founding sponsors, the Corvid Moon Publishing with the Miss Fee Mysteries, CanadianTarot.com, and the Pepper Master. They've been supporting us since day one. Matter of fact, they signed on as sponsors before we even had our very first episode out. So a big shout out to those fine folks who've been taking care of us from day one. And we are going to pursue more advertisers because, you know, we need advertisers. We need more sponsors. We'll pursue it. The thing is, it's because we are a political show, a lot of people don't really want to get involved. Good morning, Pete. Yeah, a lot of people don't want to really, sign on to a political show because we do have opinions, but we are always a fair and balanced program. And Fox News can go to hell with thinking they can trademark or own that. They simply can't. That's not how it works. We do want to be a fair and balanced show at all times, and we will continue to do so from here on out for the rest of eternity or until we can't do this anymore. Sorry. I'm babbling. I'm only on my second cup of coffee, and some days I need a third one. We'll see how I get through this. I got a couple of headlines I want to launch for you. First off, in the bad medical advice takes, there's this one. Let me just take I'll take the scrolling Chiron off so you can see that full. Do you believe there is a cure for cancer that is being withheld from the public? That is from Wake Awake One on Twitter. And the response was from @Erica Goulart 13. Goulart. Yes, 35% grade hydrogen peroxide enters your body and starves the cancer, prevents fermenting of glucose. Drink 3 drops in an ounce glass of cold distilled water 2 to 3 times daily. Every day increase 1 drop up to 25. Only on an empty stomach. No eating 3 hours before or 1 hour after. Okay, first off, don't do that. You will die. Second off, drink 3 drops in an 8-ounce glass of cold distilled water 2 to 3 times daily. Every day increase 1 drop up to 25. 2 to 3 times daily. No eating 3 hours before. If you do that, that's 9 hours you can't eat. So what this person is suggesting is build yourself an eating disorder while poisoning your body with hydrogen peroxide. Do not consume hydrogen peroxide. It's not meant to be consumed. It has its purpose, but drinking it is not that. That will kill you. I can't believe the bad medical takes I read online on a daily basis. To lighten the load, let's remember, if you want to be a fashionable man, shop Eleganza for the boomerang-style collars and the Space 1999 style uniforms. Eleganza, Detroit's finest fashion faux pas. In other news, the Bank of Canada, unlike its counterparts around the world, the Bank of Canada is putting rate hikes to bed for now. It will likely stick with a 4.5% base rate through 2023 on the belief that headline inflation will fall to 2.6% by year's end. Why it matters? Well, Canada's hardly in the clear. One Desjardins economist told Stories that major rate differentials between the U.S. could lead to capital flowing out of Canada and into the U.S. to follow higher interest rates, causing a depreciation of the Canadian dollar. A weaker dollar would make it costlier to import goods from the U.S., where we get a lot of stuff from, like food, and ratchet inflation back up in Canada. Bottom line, as more inflation-related data rolls in, we'll gain a clearer picture of how far foreign central banks will go and the effects on the economy in Canada. Well, I'm not an economist, clearly, but I don't know fully what to make of that. It sounds ominous and not in a good way. we got here? Some. Oh, our good friend Pete Jarvis just sent me a message. He's offering a free logo for 2 clients this year. So if anybody is looking for a logo, the gentleman, Mr. Pete Jarvis, our good mate from a good Aussie mate, who has created all of our logos, he is offering 2 free logos for 2 clients. Free logos for 2 clients this year. So if anybody is looking for a free logo, if anybody's looking for a logo, please, you can reach out to us via the True North Eager Beaver email page at gmail.com, and we'll put you in touch with Pete so he can send you off a free logo if you're looking for one. We always like to help each other out, right? So and Pete's been very, very kind to us in creating some magnificent artwork, as you can see. Let me just show you one quick one here. I'll change that up, and Pete did all of that as well. And we do love that, along with all of the logos that we have in our bumpers and chirons and bumpers, sorry, not chirons, bumpers and logos. And you see our little live logo up in the corner. That's Pete's handiwork. He's created basically all of our T-shirt designs, all of the True North Eager Beaver T-shirts. That's all Pete's work. So if anybody's looking for something, let us know. We'll put you in touch with Pete, and we'll go from there. In other news, speaking of Pete in Australia, the Australian currency goes sans monarchy. The nation is removing the British monarchy from its $5 bill, its only remaining banknote to still feature king or queen. Australia's central bank said it would feature an indigenous design rather than an image of King Charles III. The king is still expected to appear on coins, but we wouldn't hold our breath for Prince William, and that is via CTV News. Now, I think that's kind of interesting because a lot of folks have brought up the question of, now that the Queen has passed, are we going to replace the Queen with King Charles on the $20 note? And I suggest no. No. Well, and I'm going to go somewhere with this. I suggest we get rid of the monarchy on our banknote. Keep them on the coins. That's fine. Loonies, toonies, nickels, dimes, and quarters. But I think we should replace the Queen on the 20 with somebody like, I don't know, Terry Fox, or maybe Tommy Douglas, or Chief Dan George, or Harry Jerome, or any number of great Canadians that have helped make this country what it is. And there are so many ones to choose from that when they decided to redesign the $5 note, the Bank of Canada had a poll, and they chose, suggest up to 5 individuals who you feel should be on the new $5 note. And I submitted, was it 5 or 3? I think it was 3, and I submitted my 3 quite some time ago. I don't know what's become of it. I've not seen the new $5 note design yet, but I'm sure we will at some point in time in the near future. I'd like to see a redesign of the 20. Look, I thought the Queen was fine, but personally, I'm like, well, we're our own country. You can keep the king on the coins, but yeah, let's put a great Canadian on the $20 note. How does everybody else feel about that? Tommy Prince, from Hugh, he's saying Tommy Prince, Francis Pegamagabo. Oh boy, I know I screwed up. I screwed up that name. Francis I don't know how to pronounce it. Pegamagabo. Oh boy, I sound like I got marbles in my mouth. Terribly sorry about that, Francis. There are a number of great Canadians that we could submit to having on the $20 note, and I would much prefer that over King Charles. Just my personal opinion. You certainly have and are entitled to your personal opinion. So, Pegamagabo, thank you. Thank you, Hugh. I appreciate that. So, whom would you suggest for the $20 note? Anybody have some ideas? by all means, submit some names in the chat of who you feel we should replace the Queen with on the 20. I know it's not earth-shattering or changing the world, or definitely not any of the fours, Pete. Definitely not any fours. I don't know. Like I said, it's not an earth-shattering or life-changing event. It's not going to feed anybody. It's not going to pay down any debts. It's not going to change anything in any way, shape, or form. However, I think it is a nice gesture of the nation to honor a great Canadian. You know what, Linda? Pierre Trudeau, just to piss some people off. That's not out of the realm of reality, because he is a late prime minister, and his indelible marks are still on this nation and will be for a long time. So it's entirely possible. And you're right, Hugh. Terry Fox's run was emblematic of what we want Canada to be. Selfless, giving of ourselves to help out one another in a great time of need. We did see a lot of that at the start of the pandemic. And then, well, we know where that went. I just don't want to dwell on it today because my mood's good and I don't want it to go south. My suggestion is Terry Fox. Tommy Douglas is voted as the greatest Canadian. Let's keep that. And I think Terry Fox should be on the $20 note. Tommy Douglas, yeah, you're right, Deborah. I know. Some people would find it offensive because Tommy was a socialist, and when he was younger, he talked about eugenics. But as is every human being, we're all going to have issues with somebody at some point in time, because nobody's ever going to be see eye to eye with one another 100% of the time. It's just not possible. And nuance leads us to be able to have differing opinions and views. And as we grow older, if we actually grow, we'll grow out of those silly things. I think Tommy Douglas or Terry Fox would be great to have on the $20 note. Pierre Trudeau could be good too. I know, look, you're never going to please everybody no matter what you do. And somebody somewhere will find a reason to be pissed off, because a lot of people are just miserable. Those are three great Canadians that did great things for this nation that we cannot forget. Well, I'm going to put this quote on the screen here. It's not about eugenics, just the idea that capitalism is against what he stood for. We need more social programs. When we talk about the freest nations on earth, they are Norway, Sweden, and Finland. All three that have very strong social safety nets, very strong socialist policies. They are social democracies, so there is room for wealth. But everybody in those three nations finds that it is not only a civic duty to pay taxes, but they're happy to do so because they see the return on their investment, because that's what it is. It's an investment. It's an investment in society. It's an investment in people. It's an investment in each other. If they're the freest nations on earth with a 100 score out of 100, and we hit it at 98, and Skippy the Wonder Pigeon, P.P. Poilievre, wants to make us the freest nation on earth. To do so, he's going to have to institute strong social programs to make us the freest nation on earth. Well, he won't do that because he wants to destroy everything that we take for granted. He wants to privatize everything and eliminate taxes so we can have more money in our pockets. Well, guess what? That will increase money for the wealthy, destroy the middle class, and kill the poor. Working class will become almost non-existent. So I'm not going to go on a rant about how much I think he's a terrible human being, but he is. That's my opinion, and I think he would be detrimental to this nation. Let's talk about two other things. Candy Bergen, Murphy Brown shirt, the former interim leader of the Reformicon Party of Canada, has stepped down and retired from politics after 14 years. She's going to go into, I don't know, private industry, which means she'll probably work for the IDU or something along those lines while she gets her gold-plated, fully indexed pension. I can't dump on her for that. She has every right to that fully indexed gold-plated pension because she served for 14 years. She was elected each time by a group of her peers, so she's entitled to it. I'm not going to dump on her. I'm glad she's, because I think she's a terrible human being, but I am worried about what kind of political influence she will wield as a private citizen. Oh, hey, look at that. Look who's just crawled out of the hut.
Hello,
Mr. Beaver.
I pulled a silly.
It happens. It happens.
No, I pulled a real silly. Because this is just a soft launch week to our daily. I did not set my alarm for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday yet. I still had my alarm set for Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So I just
well,
right on through. Good morning, Kit Elaine. Oh man! So this is my rolled out of bed look. Rolled out of bed looking like this. Look.
I like your sweater though.
Oh, thank you. It's very cozy.
Yeah, it looks like it. Looks like it's North Face, is it?
It is indeed.
Yeah, they make good product. I've been a fan of their stuff for a long time, and I do purchase when I can afford their items of clothing for winter wear for skiing down the hill.
Mm-hmm. Well, I figured today was a good day for it, given that we're going to get down to what is it? We're going to go from 0 feels like -8 around 6 o'clock this morning to I believe -22 feels like -35 by 7 p.m.
It's going to be a chilly one. Yeah, it's going to drop.
We're taking a deep dive. Good morning, Kit BB. Good morning, Kit Linda M. Good morning, Kit. What can you do? Good morning, Kit Hugh. Yes, indeed. The slacker. Guilty as charged. Good morning, Kit. Good morning, Kit Saucy. Where are we at?
Well, I've been sort of going on about how Candy has she's retired. That was the first thing. Well, I've talked about a few things, of course, because I tend to do that. But Murphy Shirt has stepped down as a politician. She's retired, and I was sort of rambling about how she is entitled to her gold-plated fully indexed pension, and I don't.
Yes.
I'm not going to get upset about that. She was there for 14 years. She was elected several times. She's entitled to that pension. I am worried about what she's going to do in the private sector because I think she may very well join, like I said, Stevie Harper's IDU and then start to wield, who knows what kind of extreme Christo-fascist, that's what I call it, hammer to try and beat people into submission and rob us of our daily rights. The other thing I was about to enter into discussion was the thing you tweeted about yesterday was a person who, and again, nobody will I 100% see eye to eye to on everything. We're all like that. We're always going to find something to disagree with. And a person that I've disagreed with on a lot of things, but every now and then I go, you know what, she's right, and I like her for this, and I respect her for this, is Michelle Rempel Garner, and how she has come out in support of the drag brunches. And of course, because it was in the Western Standard, which is the publishing arm of the PBCC, it's their media conglomerate. It's their way of getting their Christo-fascist message out into the world. She came out in defense of drag queens and drag brunches and saying, I will always support our members of the LGBTQ community. Of course, the Western Standard immediately started to drag her, no pun intended, over her defense of drag queens. And to no one's surprise, of course, the minions all jump on it and start to hate her and stab her in the back. And like I said, we have over the last couple of years have picked on her. No, we've found fault with things she said and done and pointed it out.
Yes.
But we've also given her praise when praise was due.
Mm-hmm.
We are always going to be we're always going to be fair and balanced. And again, screw
Right.
Fox News thinking they own that. They don't.
Mm.
They don't own that.
Yep. Yes, indeed. I noticed that too yesterday. Actually, it's good that you picked those topics because had I been here on time, these were the topics I had picked myself. Actually, yeah, she appears to be breaking ranks because she had fallen in line rather quickly originally as well. But yeah, she's breaking ranks and she's sticking true to her principles. That's one of the things that we've always complimented her about, that she was on the right side of that issue, and it seems that she is not going to let go of that position. So we're in a situation now where conservatives are trying to rebrand Michelle Rempel Garner as being on the side of Trudeau and a Trudeau lover. And, I thought she said that she was tired of this woke bullshit, or,
Yeah.
what she said in the House before, like putting her,
Well,
sorry,
and
hands over her mouth, right?
what Deborah says is correct. She's not a nice person, even if she gets it right sometimes. And we've said that many times. But she, every now and then, she does hit one out of the park and get it right. And we are going to continue to find fault with her when she does terrible things, like, as BB says, pushing her Buffalo declaration. And, she is a pathetic propagandist. Yes, no question. And, talking about woke bullshit, like you just said, in the House of Commons, and then goes around and does something very woke. So it's complex and complicated.
Right, very much. Did you see the tweet in question that caused everybody to?
I did see it. I didn't. I forgot to. I forgot to click on it, so I can't show it. If you have it, your signal's dropping off there, sir. Give us a second. I'll wait till your signal gets better.
Hold on.
But if you have it, yeah, I'll be happy to share it. 6 more weeks of winter via Punxsutawney Phil. Oh, excellent.
Yes, it was Groundhog. It is Groundhog Day.
Yeah, Groundhog Day. I feel like we've done this before. Have we done this before? I feel like we've done this before.
It feels oddly familiar.
Groundhog Day, the movie. Yeah.
Yes.
Did you hear "I Got You, Babe" when you woke up this morning on the radio? Because if you start hearing that, that's when you panic, right?
51st shows. So yeah, this is the one that she put up. It's a tweet that she put up on January 16th at 6 p.m. And it says, "A wise queen once said, if you can't love yourself, how the hell are you going to love somebody else?" That's RuPaul, by the way. She could have said RuPaul, but she said a wise queen. Words to live by. And in parentheses, and because it's important to say, I stand in support of the LGBTQ plus community. No room for hate in hashtag YYC or anywhere. Calgary. Exactly. So she said that she'll always stand in support of the community, and that's it. And then people started losing their mind like this. CPC supports the sexualization of children, noted. Anti-drag or anti-exposing children to a hypersexualized situation. So, yeah, it
How much you
appears
want to
that
bet?
Operation Single Her Out is on the way.
How much you want to bet the same people who said all of those things, that the hypersexualization is blah, 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 all the same grooming garbage they spew, how much you want to bet every single one of them would be willing to put their child into a beauty contest?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right? No, There's nothing wrong with that. We're celebrating beauty. You're sexualizing children. You know what you can do. You know what you can do. You know what you can do. I'm trying not to say the words, so I'll just flip the digits.
It all with the fact when Alain Reyes, who was working on Charest's campaign, decided that he was going to step aside, and then his office accidentally sent out that text message to everyone in Reyes's writing that had a conservative membership to maybe not support him in the next nomination, right? So he got singled out. The whole party, apparatus was used against him. And then we had Ed Fast, the former international trade minister, who said that he didn't like where Pierre was going, and Pierre made him quite obvious that he was not going to be welcome and that he did not have freedom of expression within the party. So this is all in the same line as this, right? Michelle Rempel Garner is not going to agree with me on absolutely 100% everything, and we cannot bend an inch to anything anything liberal or woke or progressive, because now you've sided with the monsters who are grooming children and sexualizing them. So, I mean, there's nothing worse you can say about a person than that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, they're in the business of casting us as monsters now, right? So it's, soon they're going to be talking. It's probably not going to be a pizza place here. It's probably going to be in the basement of a Tim Hortons or something. But we're going to get our own Pizzagate type thing as well, and because
Yeah.
right. I mean,
Yeah.
this is where this is going, right? This is where this is
Agreed.
going. So yeah, it's I mean, if we're going to consider Michelle Rempel to no longer be a conservative and be like infected by woke just because she's got it right this time on gay stuff, I mean, that's what I mean. The conservative movement is much more interested in the purity test at the moment. And as we say often, the problem with purity tests is that the only person that helps is the tester.
Yes.
Right?
You are correct.
So, yeah. Michelle Rempel Garner stuff is not great, and Candice Bergen leaving is, well, it's time. But I mean, yeah, like you said, 14 years. I guess she's given at the office. She goes, "I'm choosing to leave now, not because I've run out of steam, not because I'm tired. I've run out of steam. In fact, it's the exact opposite. I feel hopeful and re-energized, hopeful for our strong and united Conservative Party and our caucus under the courageous and principled leadership of my friend Pierre Poilievre, which makes no sense whatsoever."
None. Zero. None. None.
No, I mean, if you're saying that, you're
What
just going
kind
to
of
say,
meat?
you say the party's in great hands, and I think it's time to step aside to make room for new blood. But not because you're
Well, I
not
was
tired. I
gonna
have not run out of steam.
remind
I'm not tired. I'm not run out of steam.
reminds me
I'm
of the old joke.
re-energized, and I'm leaving. Bye.
Reminds me of the old joke. What kind of meat do priests eat on Friday? The answer is none.
But
You have to think about it for a second and change the spelling and let your mind wander into the gutter.
Yep, indeed.
That's all I'm going to say.
Do we have time for one more thing?
We got lots of time.
You do?
I wrenched. Well, yeah, I'm going to work from home today because I don't have any meetings today, thankfully. But I wrenched my back at work yesterday.
Oh no!
Yeah, so I'm going to be slapping on the old massager here shortly, my TENS machine, because I'm in a lot of pain. Walking from the bed to here was difficult. Getting out of bed was difficult. So I'll be fine in a day or two, but I'm going to have to take it easy. I won't be going skiing this weekend. Mind you, it's going to be minus 50 with the wind chill, so I don't even know if the ski hills will be open. They close when they hit a certain temperature because nobody's going to show up and the operators can't stand in minus 50 degrees, right? So
Okay.
we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'll probably be taking it easy this weekend until I'm back at, like I said earlier, 100%. No, I'll never be 100% again, but at least at a functional level.
Right.
So we got time. We got time.
All right. Then I'll put. It's really funny that you mentioned this because, like I said, the whole theme of this episode that I had planned was all conservative stuff. So about Candice Bergen specifically, she represented the riding of, or the electoral district of Manitoba riding of Portage-Lisgar since about 2008, and according to the CBC, of course, the resignation means that there will be a by-election in that electoral district. It has to be held within 6 months. And it seems that there are already takers because Manitoba Finance Minister Cameron Friesen announced last week that he'd step down as an MLA to seek the nomination in the riding. But she only just announced she's retiring. Seems like somebody got a little tap on the shoulder. I think the finance minister knows that there's not a very good chance that they win the upcoming provincial election in October. So there's the little mouse on the ship going, run away, run away. Scary,
funny how that works, eh?
Man. And Prime Minister Justin Trudeau pulled pretty much Betty Davis. Right? Mother said not to speak ill of the dead.
Oh,
He's
yes.
dead.
Yes, yes.
Good.
Sorry, I was lost for a second. Yeah. Yeah.
I thank her for her many years of service.
That was it?
That's it.
Oh,
That's all he had to say.
wow. Well, yeah, that's definitely I thank her for her service. Silence. That is that,
The
as
opposite.
Trevor Noah would say, that's a Canadian way of saying screw you, bitch.
Don't let the door hit you. Bye, sheets. Take the sheets with you. We'll be burning that shit.
When she spent 3,000 or 6,000 on sheets. Either way, it's more than I've spent on every set of sheets I've ever owned in my entire lifetime.
I mean, holy crap, man. Well, you know what? At least, right, when she became the interim leader, and I said she would provide hours of entertainment because she loves the spotlight, and now she's got a
Oh, yeah.
she's got a title, baby. And did I said that, and did she disappoint? She
course
did
not.
not disappoint. No, not at all. Because she did the ultimate thing. She's the person that will forever go down in history as the let Trudeau wear it
Oh, yes.
person from the
Yes.
convoy.
Let's make it his problem.
Let's make it his problem. Yeah. Yeah. So yes, the expenses were $5,200 for bed bath linens and $3,800 for mattress replacement.
Okay, let me just marinate on
The
that
move
one
to
for a
Stornoway,
minute.
a reminder, cost us $19,404.
And she was there what, 6 months? Was she even there 6 months?
That's a good question.
I thought conservatives were supposed to be fiscally responsible. No. They're fiscally irresponsible. It's a fallacy that they've ever been fiscal. Well, no, let me back it up. Let me back it up because we need to separate the parties here, right? There's the
Right.
Joe Clark progressive conservatives.
Yep.
The John Robarts progressive conservatives in the province of Ontario. They were fiscally responsible. The current crop of reformers are fiscally responsible for putting money in their own damn pockets and taking it out of yours. Period.
Yep. Indeed.
Period.
You nailed it.
She's entitled to her entitlements. There's no question. She had the right to do what she did. But if she was actually a fiscal conservative, she would have said, no, I've got a place where I'm living. I'll stay here. It's no sense in me moving in there for 6 months. But she wanted that exalted position, that exalted title of official opposition leader, resident of Stornoway. You know what?
Well, it works very well on the resume when you're going on the political circuit afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
You're writing your books and, your speeches and your fees.
Yeah. Because it's all about the grift. It's a grift one way or another.
Yep.
One way or another.
The grift is on.
If you can keep rolling, I got to get some more coffee. I'll be right back.
All right. And good morning, Kit Jen. Good morning, Kit Tim M. Good morning, Kit Deborah G. Good morning, Kit Mel. Hello, darling. And good morning, Kit Mike H. Lovely to see you as well. Not sure if I said good morning to you, Kit BB, but there you are. I'm saying it again. If I have, you get it twice. All right. So we have Candice Bergen saying bye-bye. It's almost like we need, too bad he's off the mic because he really likes Fifi Dobson, and it sounds like a Fifi Dobson moment, right? It's like, bye, Bergen. Don't let the door hit you on your way. Oh man, where's Fifi Dobson when you need her? And then we had Michelle Garner, who looks like she's being ostracized from the party and singled out for special treatment. And then I have a particular treat for you. Mr. Grizzly's back. I'm sure he's going to put on those headphones and possibly give us our morning pour from what I see, what he had in his hand.
I already poured one, so I'll have another morning pour before the morning is out. I need 3 cups of coffee this morning. A while back, I used to do 2 cups of coffee in a 12-ounce mug, and a while back I said I should cut back on the coffee, so I'll shrink the mug size down to 8 ounces and just drink 2. I end up drinking 3, so I'm still consuming the same amount. 8 3s are 24, 2 12s are 24. It's still the same amount, and I can't get away from it. I've tried to cut back, but
Body wants what the body wants.
yeah.
Yeah, I was just joking with the kids while you were away that with Bergen's resignation, we could have used Fifi Dobson.
Oh, bye-bye, boyfriend. God, I love Fifi Dobson.
Bye-bye, Bergen.
She's so good.
I know, right?
She's so good. And I missed her at Pride this past summer because I had a terrible anxiety attack in the midst of a crowd of people after having been out in the sun for 8 hours in the blazing hot sun and after marching in the parade for a couple of hours. And it just, it was too much. It was too much. And I had to leave.
Kit Raffi, yay! Thank you for joining us. Oh, what you can do, gave us an interesting post. I'm guessing that our friend, what you can do, Kit, what you can do is probably from the U.S. listening.
Yeah, he's in Michigan. Your old pal, Jake. Well, actually, I don't know if he's in Michigan, but he is in the U.S. Yeah,
in the U.S. Well, he's got some breaking news for us because currently, it seems that the state of Michigan passed. Oh, okay. Proposition 1 in 2018. That's not news from today.
Yeah. He's enjoying the benefits of Prop 18.
Yes. Prop 1 in 2018. Okay.
Which is cannabis legalization. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I believe that's the case. Well, enjoying good health, my friend. Now, as I was saying before Mr. Grizzly came back, I have a treat for you.
Oh, just a second here. So in the YouTube chat, Rafi has a pink hand waving, waving. But in the restream, when I'm able to post stuff, it just says :hand -pink -waving. It doesn't show the icon for some reason. And then it shows this icon from Ree. So I don't understand why some icons show, some don't. It's very strange.
Yeah, indeed. We have a Kit, what you can do, pulling an Ed McMahon. You are correct, sir.
You are correct, sir. That's where I was going with that.
Yes. We should add Michigan as another province. Yes, we should. And while we're at it, let's take Minnesota. They're honorary Canada anyway. All right. Yeah. So it's true. Even down to the healthcare. They have a better healthcare system than most of the states statewise. Kit Pete, I do love my little taste of Canada on this podcast. Lovely to hear what's going on. We love having you here, my friend. I love you very much. All right. I promised I had a treat for you before Mr. Grizzly came back, and now he's back, and I wanted to save this for you. I didn't want to do this without you here, my friend. Okay. So, because this is going to be wonderful. It is a little clip this on Twitter that goes by Ikwinder S. Gahir, tweeted this on the 31st, and I thought it was just absolutely fantastic. So, all right. No, that's not it. There we go. Okay. That shares it. All right.
I don't have it.
You don't have it? There you go.
No, should. Okay, you ready? Let me know when you're ready, and I'll post
volume on it. Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. Let's see.
All right.
But let me tell you something, Justin. There is pain in the faces you do not see. There is suffering in the voices you do not hear. And there is distress and even chaos in the places you do not go.
Here, the keynote address by New York Governor Mario Cuomo.
There is despair, Mr. President, in the faces that you don't see, in the places that you don't visit, in your shining city.
Well.
In fact, Mr. President, this is a nation.
But let me tell you something, Justin.
But let me tell you something, Skippy. It seems that the person that wrote your little speech that you delivered with a little bit of smarm was written by the same people who wrote Melania's speech.
Mm-hmm.
That they took from Michelle Obama.
You got them there French fried potatoes.
Melania Poilievre. I'm just wondering, he almost, the only thing he didn't do was tell all the children to be Bexty. I am very happy to be running for next Prime Minister of Canada. Be Bexty. Twit. Literally, look, he's got the Trump kids greaser hair back. This is new, relatively new, right? Because his hair wasn't doing that before, right? Got the glasses on, like this, trying to do the tough thing, right? Stealing other people's words. None of it is authentic. The reason none of this is landing is because none of it is authentic.
None of it is.
It's all a frickin' act. All of it. He's just saying whatever he needs to say or he thinks he needs to say to win. This right here is the face of win at any cost. But just is. He'll just say anything. Anything. And that was that was one of the reasons we cracked up in the leadership race, because he turned around and was saying of one of the other candidates, of Patrick Brown will say absolutely anything. It's like, dude, have you smelled your armpits lately? Met you, right? Because this is the guy who will literally say anything. So yeah, Igvinder Gahir posted that with a little caption that said, "Hey, Pierre Poilievre, care to explain why you despise liberals but plagiarize their words in your most recent speech?" So now, along with Poseur Pete, we've got plagiarism Pete. It's not that he's lazy. He works hard. He works hard at all the wrong things, and anything that he can steal, he will. This is the guy that wants to lead the nation. As we mentioned on the previous show, he pointed to Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's past history of having done blackface and asked about someone with a questionable moral past. Questionable moral present.
Yeah.
Always pick the person with the questionable moral past who appears the way that they've learned from it, than the person with a questionable moral present who doubles down. This guy, not for you. Not for you. Not for us. Not for us. And fortunately, the slide in the polls that we have been seeing for the Liberals for several weeks now started with the C21 screw up, and then we had the Mary Ng thing, and then McKinsey came out, and then there was stuff about Ahmed Hussein, and none of these are terrible on their own. On the McKinsey thing, it came out this week, right, when they were one of the first people that they had testify was Dominic Barton, and then certain conservative statements are members are mentioning his name when they're making statements about this. So what we said a few episodes ago about this not seeming to be so much about the money, but more as a get Dominic Barton operation, seems to be materializing because it has been found out over the course of time that it wasn't just $66 million, but now over $100 million that is spent on McKinsey. But it turns out that if you do the analysis of all the consulting, McKinsey is 10th out of all the firms that the government uses when you count the Deloittes and the KPMGs and all of that. And so the consultancy is not new, right? As Chantal Hébert pointed out, the story is the fact that it went from about 2 million under Harper to about over 100 million for McKinsey specifically, and Dominic Barton was leading the international arm of McKinsey, and then was brought in to be the ambassador of Canada to China during the time that we needed to negotiate to get Michael Spavor and Michael, I'm forgetting his last name now.
The two Michaels.
Yes, but I was trying not to refer to them as the two Michaels, but their actual names. Michael Kovrig. There we go. Back home. And then as soon as that was done, he was pretty much gone. So yes, they're trying to make some type of link. Actually, the Conservatives are sort of behaving like NDP, trying to make the well-connected Liberal friends getting contracts. But let's remember this entire context that this is happening in is that we just bought some F-35 contracts. And the guy who is the leader of the opposition at the moment, who's self-declared as the next Prime Minister of Canada, had not a word to say when he was in government, and they were going to sole source not 66 or 100 million over the term of their entire government, but billions to one company to build fighter jets. Again, it's not about the money. The guy who had no problem with sole sourcing billions of dollars over like 40 years, when you count the life cycle of the planes and the costs that come in, billions, billions, and billions of dollars to one company without a contract, without a competition. Sorry, not without a contract, but without a competition. Has no problem with one consulting firm getting $100 million, particularly when it's not the number one consulting firm at all anywhere near that's been hired. Smoke and mirrors.
Smoke and mirrors.
Let's take this one little thing that has a kernel of truth and let's elevate it and forget everything else around it. So this is not about the money. This is not about the money. So yes, so we have Pee Pee. And then what happens is that, so according to 338 Canada, where we go, which is our polling aggregator, after 6 straight weeks of decline for the Liberals and 6 straight weeks of rising from the Conservatives, that got us to I believe it was a 36 to 30 split on the popular vote projection, though that's starting to narrow. So it's narrowed down to 4 points: CPC 35, LPC 31, NDP 20, Bloc Québécois 7, Green Party 4, and PPC 2. So it seems very clear that Poilievre has consolidated the PPC vote under his banner. And eventually, if he does try to make a pivot to the center, we'll see what he loses. The good news for Canadians in the polling aggregating numbers is that in the province of Quebec, the Conservatives are dropping in popularity, with the Liberals and the Bloc Québécois increasing, and the Liberals having a 6-point lead over the Bloc in that province. The Liberals have started to regain steam once again also in Atlantic Canada. Sorry, no, that's not true. Sorry, I lied. They're still dropping in Atlantic Canada.
Don't lie.
It is
Don't
narrowing.
lie. Your pants will go on fire if you do that.
Yes, I lied for 3 seconds. Apologize. In Ontario, the gap is starting to close again. The gap is narrowed to just 1 point between the Conservatives and the Liberals. So where things are vote-rich in Ontario and Quebec, things are still very good for the Liberals. Support for the Conservatives is increasing on the prairies, where it does them no good at all whatsoever because it's saturated. Same thing in Alberta. It's still increasing just slightly, but it is increasing again, which does them no good. And then in British Columbia, which is the odd one out right now because it seems to be really divided, while the Conservatives are not dropping, the Liberals are decline has maybe stopped. There seem to be bouncing up and down from a level. And if the voters in British Columbia have to decide between the Liberals and the New Democrats in order to stop the Conservatives, right now they're polling at 29 for the Liberals and 27 for the New Democrats in the province. So it could be very possible that there's a split decides there to try to reel in the Conservatives. But for the better part of, by God, since about July of last year, the Liberals and the New Democrats in British Columbia have been pretty much on top of each other, running at the same levels of support, plus or minus 2, maybe maximum 3%.
Wow.
So hopefully there won't be more stuff that comes out of the McKinsey thing with which the Conservatives can make hay, and more of this sassy and spicy Trudeau that Canadians have been seeing and liking. I mean, we even have like Dean on the main network saying, starting to have to like this guy in some kind of weird way. And even Lachlan can admit every now and then that he's making a good move, even though he will never like him.
Exactly.
He will never like him. He will never like him. But it's not because he loves Pee Pee that that he doesn't like the prime minister. So it's just interesting to see the moves now. There's a lot of runway left, and polling at this time is just giving you an idea of what the public mood is. And there's a lot of people that are parking their votes if they're upset. So take the polls with a grain of salt at the moment, because it's just taking temperature at the moment. That's pretty much all it is. In other news, party fundraising numbers have been released by Election Canada lately. We do this quarterly. It's been the law since 2004. And the Conservatives are running away with the fundraising dollars. Now, of course, this is the first quarter of reporting with
Rage
Poilievre
farming.
as leaders. Yeah. So there's rage farming, but there also might be an enthusiasm factor. Right? That happens when you get a new leader.
Yeah.
So Conservatives raised about $9.7 million from 327,000 people. Sorry, let me correct myself. $9.7 million plus another $327,000 in transfers from the leadership campaigns to have raked in a total of $10.2 million, which is a new record in a non-election year. All parties for fundraising in a quarter.
Of course, they'll immediately brag about that, right?
Yes. And it's the first quarter of the party fundraising with its infamous Conservative Fund of Canada, which has been the source of many problems over the years, being led by Toronto lawyer Robert Stanley. The Liberals, now just to give you an idea, the Liberals raised $5.79 million from 38,416 contributors. The Conservatives raised from 60,666. 60,666.
Evil. That's a double evil.
The numbers don't lie. Number 9.
We should point that out to them to see how they react.
So the Liberals raised $5.8 million from 38,000 donors. Now that seems like it's not very good, but it's the 8th best dollar amount and the 5th best in a non-election quarter of the 76 quarters since this data started being kept by Elections Canada. So it's not that the Liberals are doing bad. It's just that Peter Poppenjay is particularly good at bringing in the money from rage farming, which is probably why his caucus and party leadership board won't throw him overboard, even if he proves to be a liability, because he keeps the money coming in. Yes, and as we've seemed to make it quite clear, it seems that the Conservatives don't really care if they win or lose, so long as the dough keeps rolling in and they keep on living their lifestyle.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if you can make this much money without having to think of deep policy and complex things and taking things into consideration like reality, natural law, physics, gravity, right? It's one of those. It's so nihilistic. I heard a comment on Stephen Colbert when he was talking about them. He was interviewing Stephanie Hsu from Everything, Anywhere, Everywhere, All at Once, and he was saying that, like, the movie was about like the total her character had nihilism on both sides, right? The daughter in real life is depressed and think that nothing matters anymore, so there's no point, like this. And then the person in the movie is like so nihilistic. So it's like what would an actual everything bagel, actual literal everything bagel taste like? A bagel with literally everything that's ever existed on it.
I don't want to know.
Right. And it's sort of like, well, if the world doesn't matter, right? And Stephen Colbert said something like, if the world doesn't matter, then like I can like kill you, pop your head off, and eat it like a cupcake, right? Because nothing matters, right?
Nothing
in this
matters.
alternate reality that she's in, right? So it's this type of thing. It's nothing really matters. I get paid the same amount. I get the same book deals when I'm gone. I get the same whether I actually put in the work to develop a coherent policy or don't. So I'm just going to spend every day finding a reason to find find a reason to blame the latest thing that went wrong in the world on Trudeau, and I'm going to say that the country's going to hell in the pan basket, and I'm going to just say weird, outlandish things that will get me media time, and I'll just keep doing it. And if I win, great, because I get to rule, because they're not here to govern, they're here to rule. I get to rule, and if I don't, well,
That's
the money
it.
still keeps coming in, and I get a cushy job that I get paid, well, 6 figures, with very low taxation, and get a housing allowance and a travel allowance, and credits to take my family on certain trips with me, so I don't have to be alone all the
Mhm.
time, and get to appear on TV, and make whatever side deals I make that allows me to get more money, and I don't really have to do anything or sweat to get it. Nice
Yeah.
work if you can get it,
Nice work if you can get it.
right? That's what it's all about at the moment. The NDP raised $2.5 million from 20,352 donors for its 10th best and 7th in a non-election quarter. The Bloc Québécois raised $866,505 from 5,777 donors for its second best haul in a non-election reporting period. Seems that people are not getting tired of the BQ. The Greens, despite all the troubles that they've had, have raised $820,796 from 6,270 donors, making it their 14th best in the periods and 11th in a non-election quarter. So, I mean, there's been 76 of them. The Greens have been around for all of them. So if they're raking it in at the 11th best totals, it seems that people might be coming back to the party indeed. And in a number that will probably make you all shudder, despite the popularity of Pee Pee, the People's Party of Canada had a record haul for the 5 quarters for which it's been filing. $725,293 from 5,851 donors.
Well, that'll keep Maxim traveling the country for a little while longer.
Yeah. Just saying, it's a really, really, really good grift. It's a better grift than declare yourself. It's a better grift than declare yourself a queen and get yourself some green.
Apparently.
Just say you're running for prime minister, get enough people to fluff you, and all of a sudden, people from all over Canada are donating totals of hundreds of thousands of dollars to you in quarters. That's 3-month period.
That's a lot.
Despite the fact that the PPC wackadoodles have their savior and their messiah, Pee Pee, they're still hedging their bets. They're at 2%. And they're still raking in $725,000 per quarter. There's a lot of money in hate. There's a lot of money in rage. It's big business, kids. It's big business.
Rage farming it's a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really sad. It's really sad. We're being played. They're and like I said, it's people who want to do to us everything that they complain and scream about is being done to them. It's true.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
No lies detected.
No lies detected, indeed. Mr. Grizzly, do you have anything?
Yes, I do. I have
All
something
right.
quickly I need to show and share here. Just give me a second while I get it set up. And apparently Peter Popinjay is trying to rule over us, but apparently I don't think we're going to let that happen because apparently
I've never been on live television before, but apparently sometimes I don't watch the news because I'm a kid. Every time, apparently, Grandpa just gives me a remote after Powerball.
apparently. I love that kid.
Grandpa gives me a remote after we watch the Powerball. I love it.
Apparently.
Oh, man. All right. Let's see. What else do we have for you? Moving away a little bit from the Conservatives and touching on a couple of other topics. Things
I have
are...
a clip for you here, actually.
Oh,
Have you?
okay.
I
Please
don't
go
know
ahead.
if you've seen this. Yeah. So this is from True North Center. I'm gonna air this clip in it's 1 minute and 25 seconds, and it kind of speaks for itself and stands on its own.
Okay.
Let's just watch Skippy the Wonder Pigeon rail on about. Well, you'll see in just a second.
Decriminalization in BC end if you become Prime Minister.
Yes. Now, by the way, I'm going to add just on that. Decriminalization has been in place in BC now since about 2017. In reality, the results are in. It is over. It has been a disaster, an absolute abject failure. You not only need to take a walk down the streets of East Vancouver, where addicts lay face first on the pavement, where people are living permanently in camps, but you just need to look at the data. A 300% increase in drug overdose deaths in British Columbia since Trudeau took office 8 years ago. The Trudeau NDP approach is on open display in Vancouver. It is a complete disaster. It is hell on earth. We're going to reverse that policy, and we're going to reverse it. We're going to replace it with recovery and treatment. That's what works. And again, the debate is over on that as well. In Alberta, they doubled the number of treatment beds from 4,000 to 8,000, and they've cut in half the number of overdoses. We need to save our brothers, our sisters, our neighbors, our friends from the scourge of drug addiction, and a Poilievre government will make sure there is treatment and recovery to do that.
Okay. I can only listen to so much bullshit, and that takes the cake. He is so far out on that one, it's ridiculous. First off, his statement where it's been decriminalized in British Columbia for years. That's not true.
What he's talking about there
At
is those
all.
safe methadone programs where you like go to the pharmacy and take it in front of the pharmacist. He's talking about those types of things.
But he's still, I know, but
no. But here's the thing, right? He's like sitting there and he's going like, these policies have failed. They're terrible. They didn't work. That is not true.
It's not true.
Needle replacement programs and safe disposal. They have
Stop
worked.
the spread of hepatitis and HIV.
Yes. Safe consumption sites. There's not been one overdose death at a safe consumption site in Canada. There's not been one.
Right.
When he's talking about the 800% or however 300% increase or whatever it is, and since the time that Trudeau has been Prime Minister, that happens to coincide with the rise of the opioid thing, where the pharmaceutical companies were getting people high. That's not his fault. He has to deal with it, but that is not his fault. The fact that there are people that the streets are lined up with homeless people is because we don't have an effective housing program. The fact that we still have people on the streets like using toxic substances is because we don't have a safe supply at the moment, which he also frames safe supply as being the Liberals pumping the streets, flooding the streets with toxic drugs that are killing people, as opposed to drugs that people are going to take anyway. Because addiction is what addiction is. That won't kill people, so that we can keep them alive long enough to get him to the treatment and recovery that he talks about that says works. So this is basically, think of everything back in the days of safe sex, when that was safer sex education was coming up and people were saying abstinence only. This is the abstinence version only for drugs. See, treatment beds, treatment. That's the only solution. It's the only one I'm willing to consider. We're going to take away everything else. But if you're not at the point yet where you are ready for treatment, and there happens to be, and for this program to work in the way that he does it, there has to be so many beds and so many people that there's always one open for whenever anybody wants to come in.
Yeah.
He's not funding that. He's not funding that. That costs money, and spending money is inflationary.
Well, Deborah's question here that we posed that it's on the screen is, so drug health policy is now a federal jurisdiction? That's the other thing. He blames Trudeau for a provincial responsibility. He does it all the time. And you know what's worse is Jugmeat contributes to that by constantly blaming the Prime Minister for provincial jurisdiction. And that's when we get pissed off at Jugmeat, because every now and then he looks like an elder statesman, and then he pulls something right out of Skippy's playbook. And that's where I get upset, because he's failed us in that regard.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, this is the thing that he's doing. Again, when you're lazy and you can say anything and you don't have to actually work on the policy, just like, shut it all down. Everything that's bad that's going on in those cities is the fault of those things. It's the fault of Trudeau. Just get everybody in treatment and recovery. Sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not how it works. It's not tethered to reality. It's not like the government is going to create so many beds and he's going to go tap people on the shoulder. Hey, you're an addict. You're coming into recovery. Grab you. Right? You got to be ready. You got to come for that. You still need consent. You still, right? You got to meet people where they are. You got to meet people where they are. Like this meets some people where they are.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't meet the majority. You have to there's a long road when you're in the depths of addiction to get from where you are to the point of saying, I would like treatment so that I can recover.
Yeah.
He doesn't care about that.
No.
Doesn't care about that. He just wants the simple answer that fits in the 30-second soundbite that makes it sound good.
Well,
he's dangerous.
Very.
Yep. He's dangerous. All right. Let's see. That was the extent of my conservative stuff, so I would have to go into a couple of other things.
I have something here for you that I'm going to throw on the screen right now that
Sure.
Saucy C. Witch Rhiannon posted earlier. She posted a link, a CBC link, and here is a clip from the article. Mi'kmaq, Nova Scotia MP says updated electoral map kicks him out of his own riding. Critics say redrawing of boundaries discounted people of color in the province's history. Mi'kmaq MP Jamie Baptiste said the proposed change for Sydney, Victoria was done without the consultation of its indigenous constituents. Gerrymandering in Canada, done by conservative governments to further disenfranchise the already disenfranchised. Do you know how much my blood boils when I read stuff like this? Do you know how angry I get when I read stuff like this? Mm-hmm. Somebody needs to go full blue jacket guy on the cons who are pulling this shit.
Yep.
And I'll stand there right beside you and support you.
Yeah. So these are proposed changes to the boundaries of federal ridings in Nova Scotia that would remove 2 Indigenous communities from the area he represents, including his home of Eskasoni First Nation. The proposed change for Sydney, Victoria was done without the consultation of its Indigenous constituents, said Baptiste, who lives on the reserve. He said that does nothing to help foster inclusion in politics. Quote, we're seeing that these boundaries are currently working to give Mi'kmaq people voices where they never had them before for the first time in our history. And the fact that they're changing things around, to me, it's very much looking at trying to reconstruct that glass ceiling that I broke when I was elected. An independent commission tasked with redrawing the boundaries had focused on making Nova Scotia's 11 ridings more similar in population size, but critics say their method discounted Indigenous and racialized groups and the province's history. The Electoral Boundaries Readjustment Act says about 88,000 people should live in each Nova Scotia riding, but the Commission can't depart from that target by 25% to account for community interest, identity, or history. That means each riding could have no fewer than 66,095 people and no more than 110,158. Baptiste lives in a riding that's one of the largest population declines in Nova Scotia since the lines were last redrawn, but its current population would still fit within the rules. It seems rather strange and rather peculiar that out of an entire writing, the only place that is removed is the largest Mi'kmaq community, he said. Coincidence?
I don't think there's a coincidence there.
Yes.
That's planned.
Other Liberal MPs from Nova Scotia, including Immigration Minister Son Fraser and Lena Mettledge-Diab, raised concerns that the new boundaries could also divide other communities of racialized Nova Scotians. Because there's a pretty decent Black community in Nova Scotia as well. So I assume that that would be happening there. That could affect that as well. Baptiste said that most Mi'kmaq people live about 40 minutes away from where consultations were being held, but many of them don't speak English and many of them didn't have transportation to get there. He said the commission failed in their duty to consult and that First Nation chiefs in Nova Scotia are considering escalating the issue to federal court. Quote, there's a reason why there's systemic racism embedded into the system because it's not meant to accommodate Indigenous peoples, Baptiste told MPs during the committee meeting. Yep.
Yeah.
This is
big sigh.
Yep. So the final decision making on redrawing the federal ridings in each province lays solely with the provincial commission, whose members are appointed by the House of Commons Speaker. In Nova Scotia, the commissioners include Louise Carbert and David Johnson, who are political science professors at Dalhousie University and Cape Breton University, respectively. A third commissioner for the province is Justice Cindy Bourgeois, who sits on the Nova Scotia Court of Appeal. Any approved changes will take effect during a general election held after April 1st, 2024 at the earliest. So the changes are not yet approved, so hopefully there's a way to fight this. But
let's hope.
Yeah,
keep hope alive.
Yeah. Indeed. Thank you for bringing that up.
Ladies and gentlemen,
the morning pour. That's the good stuff. That's the good stuff.
Isn't that a satisfying sound? It harkens and warms the cockles of my heart because it makes me think, oh, there's a mug of hot goodness, steaming hot goodness right in front of me that will energize me and help me get through my day. I should start doing coffee commercials, don't you think?
Yes.
Let's find a coffee company that we can advertise.
Need a little pick-me-up in the morning? Have Grizzly beans.
Grizzly beans. There is a roastery, a local roastery, Happy Goat Coffee Company here in Ottawa, which is the best coffee in the city. And I've met the owner a number of times. There's the Elgin, right next to the Elgin Street School, Elgin Street Public School. You know where that is. There used to be a Star coffee chain, which they just moved up the street next to Johnny Farina, which is 2 blocks closer to another Star coffee chain, which is weird. But when they abandoned this location, the local roastery, Happy Goat, moved in. And I'd like to talk to Happy Goat about maybe becoming a sponsor of the True North Eager Beaver, and we'll come up with a Grizzly bean.
Ooh, that would be nice. I would like that.
I'll give them a shout. I'll go talk to them. A Grizzly bean.
Yes,
I think we have something there. There's something there.
There's something there. Something interesting came out lately. People in Alberta are losing their mind about this so-called just transition thing, right? They've decided to focus on the words just transition, like the way they focused on the words the Great Reset, like the way they focus on words all the time, and then decide to, because like, you know, it has the word just or it starts with the, they give it like a horrible sense, right? Because, right, anything in the world can be a horror movie if you add the word the in front of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
The water.
the water.
Computer. The net. Right? So it's like the Great Reset. The just transition.
The just transition.
So they're trying to make this seem like it's something like awful and scary and whatnot. And it's just basically an effort to bring the energy industry into the current century, kicking and screaming in Alberta. Well, so not so much kicking and screaming because the energy companies seem to be quite happy to come along for the ride. But it's just the government of Alberta who keeps on insisting on wanting to drive away foreign investment by saying we're not going to respect the rules and trying to make their product unsellable by not wanting to reduce the carbon intensity of the products that are coming out, that we're pulling out of the earth. And eventually, the way that this is going, then people are going to set standards, minimal standards, and sorry, your oil does not meet minimal standards. I'm sorry, we cannot buy that because you would not do the work.
Bye-bye, Miss American Pie, right?
Right.
And let's also take into account that when they scream about we're going to lose jobs in the oil field, you're already losing them to automation.
You're losing them to automation, and you are losing them to the green.
And they're never coming back. They're never coming back
to the green industry, and there's always going to be a need for oil products. They're probably just going to be in formats that we don't burn.
Well, this is the thing, right?
And other things, right?
Plastics are oil, petroleum-based products, and guess what? You know how much plastic is used in a hospital on a daily basis to keep human beings alive and well and healthy?
Right.
It's not going away,
right.
But we can change how we use the plastics. From burning in an automobile or a truck to not doing that, to creating sources of energy and heat that do not require the burning of fossil fuels in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
We can create energy via nuke, wind, solar, and hydro.
And hydrogen coming for which, again,
and hydrogen, yes.
Those oil wells, right, might be useful. And gas, and right? So it's just basically a program to help bring people, because there is something, the world is changing, and there are jobs that will get left behind, and there will be new jobs that are created to help people who want to enter the newer industry where skate where the puck is going, so to speak, can get there. So it's not this evil, insidious thing. That's pretty much all it is. Well, turns out that while the government of Alberta has been convincing Albertans and Canadians, because this is something I did not know until just yesterday, that the federal government is some type of tyrant trying to impose everything, and they're going to make Alberta suffer. Like, this is something that's going to happen to Albertans rather than something that this is going to be designed with Albertans in order to help them come through, right? Well, it seems that there have been talks between Ottawa and many Alberta groups on job transition since 2019, and they've all been going on behind the back of the Alberta government. And the reason why is not because the Liberals and Justin Trudeau, evil, mean Justin Trudeau can't remember to put on his pants, but single-handedly controls the global price of oil and inflation and the price of gas and all that kind of stuff. It's because the UCP decided that it would not participate. There's been a process going on since 2019, and the UCP decided it would not legitimize the process with its participation. The process included Alberta business, labor, municipalities, interest groups. All of them got fully engaged, but the UCP did not, thus guaranteeing that any new national job strategy would be designed without the provincial government's input, the level of government that has the deepest interest in the result. The JEPA principle, the greater involvement of people most affected by the decision, the level of government most affected by the decisions, has decided it did not want to participate. But Trudeau did that to them. That's Trudeau's fault that they've decided not to participate.
Sure it is. Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, totally.
Right.
Apparently.
So, last week, Premier Daniel Smith demanded a face-to-face meeting with Prime Minister Trudeau in an open letter. Right? You don't come to us. You don't talk to us. You never write. You never call. You don't pretend. You pretend we don't exist. If it wasn't for the fact that we pick up the phone and we hear you breathing, we wouldn't know you were alive. Right? Daniel Smith is basically saying that from Trudeau. I guess, no. He's been calling. She's been calling. But Kenny and Smith, up until now, I'm going, picking up the phone and going, "No habla inglés, señor." and then hanging the phone back up, down. ¿Qué? No comprendo.
No. He not here. He not here. No, he not
No,
here.
no understand. Call back later. Bye-bye.
Call back later. He not here.
I demand a meeting. It's like, you've been invited to them for the last 3 years.
You just never show up.
Gil McGowan, president of the Alberta Federation of Labor, and man, I would really love to get on the show,
Yeah.
basically said, "This makes my head explode. What does she think has been happening? The table has been set for months, but the UCP refuses to take a seat," according to the Calgary Herald. Like
Well,
Gil McGowan. Yeah.
Remember Daniel Smith said it's not like the government in Ottawa is a federal thing.
Yes, right. It's not like it's a legitimate national government or anything, right? Right?
What
right?
the hell does that even mean?
That was probably the scene, right? I could see, like, in the room. It's like, well, it's not like they're all around the table. It's not like the federal government's like a really a national government, right? 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 Anyone? Right? Right. Yeah, right. Like, okay, let's go.
Yeah. Nobody disagreed with me, so I'm correct.
Oh my God.
When you surround yourself with a bunch of sycophant yes men, nobody's going to disagree with you. So,
Yep.
Just
And
cool your
pardon?
jets. Cool your jets, baby.
Exactly. And this is an interesting thing on the just transition, because it's bringing together labor leaders like Gil McGowan, as well, and presidents of companies like Synovus, so Alex Pourbet, because both of them don't like the label, but both of them also agree that if there is no transition plan and it's not done right, the energy and renewable sectors will have done right, because the energy and renewable sectors will have many more jobs than oil and gas does now. Pourbet, who is the CEO of Synovus, told Post Media in an interview, quote, "This transition, if done correctly, and if we're able to materially decarbonize the Canadian barrel of oil, I actually think it should result in more jobs and materially more jobs in the Canadian energy sector."
Well, there you go.
So industry wants it and thinks it'll bring more jobs. Environmental groups want it. Indigenous groups want it. Everybody wants it, except for the one party whose lifeblood is fundraising dollars off of blaming Trudeau for everything.
Yes. Yeah.
Who pulled this is where Doug Ford got his move to not come to meetings. I have to say, because Doug and Jason were pretty close. Doug loved Jason because every time Doug said, "Hold my beer," Jason would show up 2 days later saying, "Hold my keg," take all the heat off Doug. And where's Jason now?
Someone in a bathhouse in Calgary somewhere, maybe.
I think it's time to have a drink in remembrance of our dear friend Jason. He was a good man. No, he wasn't.
No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't.
Don't lie.
He's done terrible things his entire life, and he's bragged about the terrible things he did. Remember what he did when he was in San Francisco? Let's not forget that.
Side of the rainbow I swing. How can I forget that?
Let's not let it go unpunished. Let's not let it go. We need to remind people of how terrible of a human being he is.
Mm-hmm. For the people who happen to still not know, basically during the HIV crisis, while people were dying alone, separated from their partners because there were no visitation rights, because people were not legally married and relationships were not recognized, he was leading a campaign to basically ensure that kept on being the case.
Mm-hmm. And he bragged about it.
Dying humans the opportunity to spend their last moments with the person on the planet that they've loved the most.
That's exactly what he did. He denied that and bragged about it, and still does. So, you know what, Jason?
Stop Voting for assholes.
Can you hear this, Jason? Can you hear it? Let me turn it up for you.
The volume. Pump up the volume, pump up the volume, pump up the volume. This, boom, 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 boom. Ah, man. Yep.
In my
yep,
effort to
he's-
be a better, nicer, kinder, gentler man, I'm going to try and refrain from dropping F-bombs and rage. I'm trying to refrain. So occasionally I will flip someone off.
Mhm. Absolutely. Saucy Sea Witch goes and eye twitches. It's like,
Yeah. Mhm.
I get that every now and then. Saucy. I read the news every now and then or listen to the news and all of a sudden like, that hurts. Or I either like pull an orbital muscle from having like eye rolled so hard, like one stays up there, and I have to like wait till the rage subsides for a couple of minutes so that the muscle relaxes, so the eyeball comes back down. In
Mhm.
other news that might be interesting, Alberta's former chief medical officer, Dr. Dina Hinshaw, who got rather unceremoniously dumped by I have a new name for her actually by Daniel Smith. I wondered, I posted it once. But I'll try and find this for you. I started calling her Danny Wilkes Smith. From Misery. Anyway,
Yes.
because
Yes.
it was this, I saw this picture of her and it reminded me, and it's like, just Mr. Grizzly. When where she had that press release with Tyler Shandro and she pushed him in front of the podium because she didn't have the answer when she said that the Alberta Sovereignty Act, was definitely conformed to the Constitution. She was looking at him like this.
Misery.
Once you see it, like,
Yep.
come on, man.
Mm-hmm.
Right? PM Justin, I'm your biggest fan. Come to Alberta. We've got beef.
Rikes, Raggy.
I'll make you something wonderful, you little dirty birdie. It's just. So, anyway, after Dr. Dina Hinshaw was very unceremoniously dumped by Premier Danny Wilkes Smith 5 weeks after clawing her way to the premiership. Yes, I'm being catty because petty is my favorite color. Chief Medical Officer Dina Hinshaw will be joining British Columbia's public health leadership team on a 6-month contract to sub in for a deputy health officer on temporary assignment. So there you go.
There you go.
People land. It's like, man, geez. It's you know what? She got a hard.
Yeah.
I am torn with the Bonnie Henrys and Dina Hinshaws and Kieran Moores because
Yes.
somewhere
Rock hard
along
place.
and I mean, for me, my morals are such that, and it's easy to say when it's not my job on the line, I admit. But I've asked a couple of times, is the money that good?
Must be.
Right? Because you're putting your reputation as a public health officer on the line when you don't speak up. My favorite example of this is Munir Sheikh, who used to be the head of Statistics Canada, and it was his dream job. And when former Prime Minister Stephen Harper decided that he was going to try to rejig the census so that we used other types of data collection, and he basically went out and told the press that Munir Sheikh himself told him that it would yield better results. Munir Sheikh at that moment had a choice to say nothing and let that stand. Let the Prime Minister said that, and let everybody in his industry, all his peers, believe that he actually said that, which would have destroyed his reputation totally among his peers because it wasn't true. And had he actually advised that, he'd basically be screaming to the world that he doesn't know what he's talking about. Or resign in principle.
Resign.
Say, I did not say what the Prime Minister said. I told him. The advice that he told you I gave him is not the advice I told you that I gave him. And I now must resign from this job because I cannot have my name associated with that.
So I'm going to post this on the screen here from BB.
Hold on, just before you move me. Are you moving off the subject?
All. No, keep going.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yes. I wonder about Dr. Kieran Moore, and I wonder about Bonnie Henry, and I wondered about Dina Hinshaw in those times where they were saying things that didn't seem to be just science, I guess. Say this decision is 100 based on the best available science. There became a time where it was very clear that the decisions were not being based on 100% best available science only. And they did not quit. And it's like, I don't want to judge because everybody has their own lives and whatever people's financial realities are and family realities and responsibilities, and maybe you don't have the luxury of standing on a point of principle and walking out. But if you're not opposing and you're still there, you're consenting. You're giving your professional reputation stamp of approval to things that you probably shouldn't have. So I'm glad that she's found something. She's in BC, however, where they're doing the same thing, not to the same extent, of course, as Alberta.
They're still doing it. Still doing it.
Yeah. So, I mean, the premiers are, as we mentioned in our previous episode, right? They're conditioning us not to live with COVID, but to just not care about the impacts.
So,
unless you can blame it on one person as a scapegoat.
The quote we have on the screen right now from BB is saying, Adler and Jesperson are whitewashing Danielle Smith, the spectacular scrubbers. I will agree with you on Jesperson. I call into question Charles Adler whitewashing her because he has been very critical of her. Jesperson, yep, completely agree with you. Charles Adler, I don't think so. We're never going to see eye to eye 100% on everything, right? I don't think so, though, because I've been following Charles Adler and I've had interactions with him, and he is no fan of hers, and he has attacked her on several occasions. So I'm not saying you're wrong, but I call into question that statement because I've personally not seen anything to support the statement that he is whitewashing her.
I would have to say the same thing.
Right.
Now, of course, I'm not familiar with everything.
This is the thing.
It's not even like I see his comments necessarily on a daily basis, but whenever one pops up,
it's usually critical of her and not supportive.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you can literally point us in the direction of where he's whitewashing her, we'd be happy to review it and discuss it. But I personally have not seen anything to support that statement. Doesn't mean it isn't true, though.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, we only know what we know, right?
Exactly. And there's only so much information we can take in on a daily basis, along with, all the other stuff we're trying to do.
You're telling me, man, my mind is a pool, a repository of absolutely useless information.
I'm doing 70 hours a week right now between my day job and this. It's about 70 hours a week for the work we put into doing this show, bringing you the show. Not a complaint, just a statement of fact. So what I'm trying to say is it's difficult to stay on top of absolutely everything when I'm already pushing 70 hours a week.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Same here.
Last night I took the night off. I went to a grand opening of Escape Manor on Elgin Street, which is friends of mine. It's great. It's like I helped them open their first one. I did a bunch of work for them, and I've done some acting for them, playing characters in different roles. And last night was the grand opening of Escape Manor Elgin, and it's a lounge, a restaurant, bar. They have dartboards. They have a bocce ball court. They have axe throwing that's coming in soon. They'll have a stage for live acts. It's a really spectacular place, and they're friends of mine that that have been owning and operating it for years. They have one in Australia. I can't remember exactly where in Australia, but they have a store in Australia. They have several stores in the Ottawa region, and they have one, I think two of them in Saskatchewan now. So they're ever expanding. So I was there last night along with several hundred people. The mayor was there, and I bumped into some people I hadn't seen in a while. And I had some nice chats, and there's a couple of individuals I met that we will be trying to schedule interviews with in the very near future. And I will bring you some footage from last night. I just didn't have time to get it ready for today. Perhaps tomorrow I'll show you a clip of some stuff from last night. Perhaps tomorrow. We'll see. I mean, we're always trying to promote local, right? We're always trying to promote and help our local business people who do things that better the community. And they are bringing in a local meeting place. One of the things that was funny, because Steve, one of the owners, was reading off his phone, and he says, okay, this is going to make me sound ridiculous, but the purpose of this is to make you put down your digital device and come in here and interact face to face with real people. They have Jenga. They have like Jenga, and then they have giant Jenga.
Okay.
I got a couple of photos of a giant Jenga. I don't know how it stood for as long as it did, because it was like wobbling the whole time and it stayed up before it collapsed. But Jenga, giant Jenga, they've got tic-tac-toe, they've got axe throwing, they've got Cards Against Humanity, like all kinds of games you can play in the lounge while waiting to go into the escape room. And then after you get out of the escape room, you come up, have a drink, have a bite to eat, maybe shoot some darts, play some bocce ball, hang out, and have a good time. So yeah, I'm happy to promote them because they're a good group of fellas. I've done work with them over the last 13 years, and I like to see a great success story. Local business people who, trying to make the world a little bit better.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Let's see, what else have we got for you today? I have a little bit of environmental news from you, little snippets of stuff that I've picked up and collected along the way for you. Apparently, 4 out of 5 cars sold in Norway last year were electric. The country has exempted fully electric vehicles from taxes on gas and diesel-powered cars, and a charging strategy is needed. However, Norway aims to become the first country to end the sale of gas and diesel cars by 2025. The Hanseng Bank of China, has come out and says that it will no longer finance new oil and gas projects.
Interesting.
So some of the banks are moving away as well. Apparently, the pandemic. I'm saying apparently again.
Apparently.
You played that thing, and now you put it in my head.
It's in your head. Yeah, it's in your head.
Yes, the pandemic helped with GHG reduction during the time where we were all locked up. The net emissions for 2020 were 26.6% under the 1990 reference number, when the goal was 20%. I'm guessing that those are numbers for the world, but of course that's picked back up since we've gone back to regularly scheduled programming. In February this month here, actually, Edmonton will be testing a hydrogen-powered city bus as a pilot program. There's no engine, no transmission, and no fluids in the vehicle. It has 0 emissions. Its fuel cell uses oxygen and hydrogen to produce electricity to power the bus, leaving byproducts of heat and water only. Alberta has vast amounts of natural gas, which can be converted into hydrogen, which was we were talking about previously. About 2.5 million tons were produced last year, according to the Alberta Energy Regulator. 12 years ago, BC scrapped 20 hydrogen buses due to costs at the time when that pilot project was underway. But Matthew Klippenstein of the Canadian Hydrogen and Fuel Cell Association says, we've had more years to mature the technology, It's like my voice wants to say Bing Crosby.
Of course it does.
Bring costs down, bring in cleaner fuels more cheaply. In Canada, we have about 4,000 people currently employed in the clean hydrogen sector. We expect to see that grow by orders of magnitude as we're able to displace more polluting forms of energy. So there we go. That's pretty interesting. And I believe that VIA is also testing a hydrogen-powered train.
Interesting.
As well. No, not via CP.
CP? Okay.
Yeah, as freight trains.
Cargo.
Yes. Yeah, for cargo. So there are some interesting things there. Apparently, according to Statistics Canada, the Canadian economy is still not in recession because it grew by 0.1%. December.
Okay.
I think December or November, and it is suspected that the number, November, and it's suspected that the number for December will probably be the same as well. But they are still expecting a little bit of recession coming, but we're not in one yet. We're not
Not
in one
yet.
yet.
Any second now.
Any second now. Gotta hold on to hope, my friend. You gotta hold on to hope.
It's all we've
So-
got sometimes, right? Is
Indeed.
hope.
Indeed. A little bit of cool news for you, things that happened that we hadn't mentioned yet. On January 22nd, it was the 50th year anniversary of the Roe versus Wade decision in the United States.
Mm,
And, well, we know what's happened since then.
yeah, nothing good.
Recently. Yes. In St. John, New Brunswick, there's a group of seniors who saw that their local swimming hole, which was the Canada Games Aquatic Centre, had some staffing shortages. And they've decided to fill the need by becoming lifeguards. They are actually being trained to be certified as lifeguards, and they're trying to obtain their Bronze Cross. One of the people taking the training says, everything that we're doing and have done and will have to do to pass this course is the same thing that any 15, 16, 18-year-old has to do. Once certified, they will be able to patrol the pool for at least 10 hours per month. And this group of seniors have called themselves Greywatch.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Greywatch. That, sir, is good. That is
That
good.
is really good, isn't it? So, kids, again, as we keep on saying, right? Everybody has something. They were at their pool, they saw a need, they got together, they're filling it. Doesn't matter
That's
how old you
awesome.
are.
Greywatch. Greywatch.
Yep, Greywatch. American astronaut Buzz Aldrin, who is the second person to set foot on the moon,
Mm-hmm.
married his longtime love on his 93rd birthday.
Was he waiting to make sure? Got to make sure this love is for real. I'm just putting the joke out there.
Yes.
If you find love, you get married. Good for you.
It's
Just
never too late.
Do what suits you. Do what's best for you.
Yes.
Congratulations, Buzz.
I love
Buzz
love.
is a badass. Did you see the time some guy who'd been hassling him and hounding him and harassing him for years got in Buzz's face about how the moon landing was faked? And Buzz said, look, and finally he lost it, and Buzz laid the guy out with one punch.
No.
Oh, and he was a big dude, like 6'5". Buzz just dropped. Brilliant.
I did not hear that at all.
Oh, yeah. Buzz Aldrin is a badass. Do not kid yourself. Well, Buzz Aldrin basically invented spacewalking. Like EVA's external vehicular activity. He invented spacewalking because when they first sent a man outside of a capsule, they had a difficult time in trying to manipulate in zero G, and Buzz rewrote the book on how to do it. Literally, spacewalking was I will say created in air tag. Air quotes, not air tag quotes, air quotes, basically invented by Buzz Aldrin. He wrote what turned out to be the manual with how to do it without completely exhausting yourself. Because the first person who did it was out for like 30 minutes and was physically exhausted, dehydrated, worn right out. Buzz rewrote the method on how to do it. And yeah, so spacewalking is a Buzz Aldrin creation's not the right term, but he wrote the book on how to do it effectively. He wrote the book on how to do it effectively.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
I certainly thought so.
Yeah.
Just playing with some settings here.
Updates from the U.S. On the documents thing, it appears that the Joe Biden has invited the FBI to come in and, I guess, raid?
Okay.
Is it a raid if you invite them in and say, can you please look to make sure we haven't missed anything, to see if he still had some documents? Basically, they found 4 different instances where there were documents, and not in 4 different places. But how would I say it? Instead of doing the entire searches that needed to be done and then releasing all the information, they've done one search here and then released information. Then, okay, well, maybe we should search here and then released information. So it's been coming out in drips, which is not particularly good PR-wise. It's not something I would have recommended. Now, the documents, the first documents were found at the Penn Center, where he was working as an associate professor, and then some were found at his home, and it was made to believe that they were actually in the garage, and people kept on mentioning, like, right beside your Corvette, because, of course, that would make it sound much more salacious, right?
Right.
And Joe Biden made a mistake when he turned around and said, in one of his responses, he goes, and by the way, it's not like, the car was like on the street out in the open, the car was locked my Corvette was locked in the garage. It's like, no, you just validated it, buddy. You should just walked right by that one. Turns out that those particular documents were not actually in the garage, but in a room adjacent to it. More documents were found in other places, and what happened is that they didn't have the security clearance for some of them, so they had to call the special team to come in. And then Joe Biden just basically said, to the FBI, come in and do the full search of my home. And then they did a full search of his beach house as well. Nothing was found at the beach house. And the conservatives and the Republicans in the United States have been jumping all over this, going, see, they got equal treatment, until a couple days later. It was discovered, because he too is running for president. So Mike Pence decided to have his
top secret documents at home.
Search, and he too has some. So Joe Biden might be going, oh my God, thank goodness. Now it's like, here's the thing, okay? Because I thought, I was under the impression, if you want to know where somebody is in this world, ask an archivist or a librarian.
Well, they tend to have all of that info, right? So.
How did none of these people know that all of these documents are missing? It's like, you know what? If I was a living president or vice president right now, I would be on the phone with the FBI. I says, can you please come and check my houses? It's like, when we're going to find what Barbara Bush coming out with a box of, oh yeah, Georgie had these, right? It seems that everybody has some. And that the system,
you get a top secret document, and you get a top secret document, and you get a top secret document. Everybody gets a top secret document.
So yeah. Mike Milk Toast Pence. Apparently has documents too. So this is not going to get any better anytime soon. And it appears a lot of people have been speculating that if Donald Trump was going to get in some real serious legal trouble, now he has gotten into a little bit. Like, for example, Alan Weisselberg got a really, really sweet deal. Nobody knows exactly what it is that he gave for that, but he only got 5 months in jail for all the tax fraud stuff he did. Now, apparently he testified against the Trump organization, did not testify against Trump. But I mean, let's be honest, if you're testing against the organization, you're testifying against him. But the Trump organization was forced to pay $1.6 million in restitution for this type of thing, which was the maximum fine allowed, which had some people very upset, saying that they need to change some laws, because if $1.6 million is the maximum you can be fined for that level of duplicity and corruption. I mean, it's basically, how much is it going to cost me to do this? 1.6 million, I can afford that. The fines, really need to be either what they call that, like geared to income.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's the way they are in Norway.
If you're a billionaire and you get a $30 parking ticket,
that's what you pay for parking.
That's what you pay for parking. Like this. If I don't know where my next meal's coming from and I get a $30 parking ticket, it's like,
you're suffering.
Maybe if you got a $58,000 parking ticket, maybe you'd think twice about where you leave your
That's how they do it in Norway, and it's proven to be an incentive to obey the law.
Yeah,
I knew a fella years ago. I didn't know him personally. He worked with friends of mine And he was legendary in racking up several $1,000s a year in parking tickets because he didn't care, because it meant nothing to him, because it
Right.
was just what he paid for parking as far as he was concerned.
Right.
He would park wherever he wanted because he didn't feel like walking further. He didn't give a damn. He'd go to renew his plates, and they go, "Sir, according to this, you have $7,000 in parking tickets." Yeah, that sounds about right. They're like, "What?" He didn't care because of his wife is a brain surgeon, so run the numbers, and he was on a very popular syndicated national sports talk radio program. So he was getting big dollars. He's also close personal friends with Wayne Gretzky. So you remember, I'm just giving you for instance here. You remember when Team Canada won the first Olympic gold medal in 50 some years back in the Salt Lake City games?
Yep.
You remember Gretzky jumped up and he grabbed his phone and made a phone call right away? You know, after the game was finished, and he jumped up and he was on the phone, and you could see him on camera talking on the phone. He called the host of the radio program here in Ottawa because they're close personal friends. He called him. They recorded it. He called him and said, "Yeah, I'll call you back in a few minutes. Just wanted to say, I'll call you so we can do an interview right after this. I just got to go do some press, and I'll be right back."
Okay.
This is how tight they are. Okay. So this man who earns, and I know the guy. Let me rephrase that. I know people who worked with him. I don't know him personally. Nobody ever had a bad thing to say about the guy. He was a nice guy, good person. He just, because of the money that he earned, he didn't give a damn. That's what he paid for parking. That was his concern. So we need to change fines and levy them according to a person's income, period.
And index the fines.
Index them.
As well,
yes.
so that they go up over time. So that, you know, a fine that was set in 1979 is not the same amount still in 2023 that it was then.
No.
So this has happened to him, and then things are not going well for him overall. So since the September 6th thing and the 2 years, the Department of Justice has made more than 950 arrests. Nearly 500 of those have pleaded guilty to a variety of federal trials. A lot of them, while pleading guilty, said that Donald Trump basically put to it. At least 40 have been found guilty at contested trials. 4 members of the extremist group, the Oath Keepers, were found guilty of the most serious charge, seditious conspiracy, which can bring 20 years. That's in addition to November's conviction of 2 other Oath Keepers, including the group's leader. Currently, 5 members of the extremist group, the Proud Boys, are facing the same seditious conspiracy charges in a trial. The guy from the insurrection who sat in the chair and put his feet on the desk, that guy was found guilty on all 8 counts against him, including felony charges of civil disorder and obstruction of an official proceeding. He could face up to 20 years. And a particular aggravating factor is that he brought a walking stick. It was a cane that had a metal tip, but inside it, that's where he put his 950,000 volt taser. So he basically electrified his walking stick, and his defense is that his walking stick wouldn't have worked anyway to electrify anybody because he dropped it in the bathtub. Who brings an electrified walking stick into the bathtub?
I'd say that's rather suspect.
Basically says that he shorted it. 3 active duty Marines assigned to intelligence-related jobs were recently charged with participating in the attack, with court records showing that one was waiting for a second civil war. But the thing where we thought Trump would start facing some real accountability is in the state of Georgia. If you remember this quote, "Look, all I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have, because we won the state." That one, that little one that was like caught on the phone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, in Georgia, Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis has been investigating whether crimes were committed in the effort to overturn the election results in Georgia. And a Superior Court judge is currently deciding whether the grand jury's report should be made public. Willis, in testimony, advised the judge that decisions on whether whom to charge are, quote, imminent. So please keep it private for now. Quote, "We think for future defendants,
plural,
to be treated fairly, it's not appropriate at this time to have the grand jury report released. She got 75 witnesses to testify before the grand jury, including Rudy Giuliani and Lindsey Graham and Mike Flynn, all of them who tried not to and fought it.
Mhm.
She got their
Mhm.
testimony. This is the case that'll be going forward first, and because it's state, he doesn't have any of the protections. Any. You can't even argue them. It's coming, kids. It's coming. The ROI, the return on investment we've been waiting for. Grab your popcorn, grab your 3D glasses, grab that tub of pop. It's coming. This is the moment we've been waiting for. Come on. Now, of course, they're going to contest a whole bunch of stuff and try and delay. And then, of course, if he gets found guilty, he's going to appeal. So it's going to take a long time before we see him in an orange jumpsuit. But come on, Sevens Papa needs a new butt lift. Just saying. All right, kids, I think we have a show. What do you think, Mr. Grizzly?
Yes, sir. We are wrapped up, putting a bow on it, sending it out into the world.
All right, kids, that's the end of this episode of the Daily Beaver Podcast. I love saying that. Oh, I wanted to have a Daily Beaver Podcast for so long. We hope you love listening to us because we love making this for you. Remember that sharing is caring and word of mouth is priceless. So let your peeps know about us. You are an influencer in your circle, so let people know we exist because democracy is something you do. I rolled out of bed and came to, I didn't actually have time to think of anything. Take the day off. Be good to yourself. Come back to the fight stronger tomorrow. If you really like this podcast, you can find us on Crier Media Network. I love saying that, as well as all Beaver Grizzly friendly platforms. Stars and reviews are appreciated. So if you're listening to us on Apple or any platform that allows you to give us a review and some stars, please do. We won't tell you how many. We'll just give you a little hint here subliminally. All right. We love to hear from you. Reach us on the Facebook at True North Eager Beaver, at our Twitter feed at True Eager, or by email at truenortheagerbeaver@gmail.com. And you can subscribe via Podpage, podpage.com/the True North Eager Beaver with a hyphen between each one of those words, and we'll come straight to you when we have something fresh off the bandwidth. Why also not subscribe to our True North Eager Beaver YouTube channel? We have a goal of getting to 1,000 so that we can monetize this biatch. So please subscribe, smash that button.
Like.
It helps us out big time. As
And
Kid
share.
Elaine says. Yes, and share. Share.
Sharing is caring.
Share. Yes. We can't do this without you or your generous support. So if you feel that we've done a particularly good job today, and if you don't feel too bad and not too angry at me for coming in late, kids, sorry.
It happens.
Thank you,
It
Parker.
happens.
Then you will find our tip jar at coffee, ko-fi.com/eagerbeaver. That's ko-fi.com/eagerbeaver. Kit Saucy says, great show. Thank you for the pick me up. Thank you so much, dear. Kit PB goes, you fellas rock. Thank you. Stay warm and healthy. We need you. Have a beyond awesome day, says Kit Elaine. And reminding everyone, you know what? She's the smash the button Kit. Like, she always makes sure. And finally, we've got the quality Eager Beaver merch that you have been looking for. You know you want it. You know you need it. You gotta have it. You just gotta have it. They're irresistible. Look at these beautiful designs made by Kit Pete Jarvis. Oh my. Oh, yes. Gee, did we put that on a t-shirt?
No,
Dang.
but I love to put it up there because it just enrages people.
We have Kit Saucy bringing up a line from The Princess Diaries. A beaver, especially a queen beaver, is never late, nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go. Thank you, Kit Saucy. Thank you. So, from the Beaver Lodge, this is your Eager Beaver saying, until next time, dear kits, it can be a tough world out there, so please be kind to and gentle with yourself. Mr. Grizzly, words of wisdom. Lay them on me.
I'm going to draw a quote from the late, great, brilliant comedic genius that was Groucho Marx.
Okay.
And if you don't know who Groucho Marx is, please Put them in the Googler and look them up. Animal Crackers was a brilliant film a long time ago from the Marx Brothers. Exactly. He always had the cigar and his mustache wasn't even a mustache. It was a grease pencil drawing. The late, great Groucho Marx. I refuse to belong to any club that would have me as a member. There's a lot to read into that, but basically what he was saying was a country club that would not allow people of color or Jewish people to join offered him a membership. I refuse to belong to any club that would have me as a member, because it was his way of protesting the fact that they'd been horrible for years, but we'll allow this one fella in because he's okay by our standards. I refuse to belong to any club that would have me as a member. The late, great Groucho Marx. One of my favorite quotes of all time.
Except this club. This
club. No, everybody's welcome here. Mm-hmm. You know what? You're welcome. Even if you vehemently disagree with everything we say, if you come in and present a respectable discussion, you're welcome. You're welcome here. If you show respect and you can have a discussion, you're absolutely welcome here.
Yeah.
We don't need to see eye to eye with everybody.
Nope.
And with that,
roll the credits.
The True North Eager Beaver podcast is an Eager Beaver Mr. Grizzly collaboration. Research, story, and guest curation and copy written by the Eager Beaver. Recording, production, editing, and additional research by Mr. Grizzly. Music courtesy of Ben Sound Royalty Free Music. Once again, thank you to our founding sponsors, the Peppermaster, the Miss Fee Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing and CanadianTarot.com. And thank you to Pete Jarvis for our artwork. We love it. Kids, we'll talk to you real soon. Bye.
Take care.
Take care, kids. And as Kit BB says, women will save the planet.
Indeed. I'm going to leave you with this glorious little video that will be a pick-me-up for the rest of your day. It's 21 seconds of bliss.
Okay.
Check this out. Who doesn't love a snacking panda, right? I mean, come on. Take care. Gotta go.
You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver media podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Miss Fee Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters. CanadianTarot.com, your uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community and forum. And the Peppermaster, hot pepper sauces made from fresh farm ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind.